your shoulder blades under. Feet and knees together, arms nice and wide. So tuck your chin in. Let go of your upper body and just start by rolling the hips. Keep the whole of the lower body together and think about that rotation creeping up your spine. And then come across to the other side. So although we're moving the hips and the whole lower body together, I want you to think about the movement through the spine. So think about creeping up your spine. And think about keeping your upper body nice and heavy. So we don't really want anything to happen with the shoulder blades, they should stay heavy on the floor. Maybe focus on tucking your chin in. Focus on moving from the hips more than just dropping your legs. Really heavy shoulder blades. And see how high up your spine that rotation can actually go. So be kind. If you want to, you can turn your head the other way. Good, let's have one more each way. Lovely. And once you're back in the centre, so for this bit we need a band really to help us. It makes it so much easier. So we're going to have the right leg straight on the floor, and then we're going to use this band to help us hold the weight of the leg. So you want a straight leg, it doesn't need to be near you, it's your hamstring stretch. And it's a gentle stretch, not a really powerful one. So you want to feel that you've got a little bit of stretch and you can just stay there. That's all we're doing. I just want you to point and flex that foot. And then stop moving the foot. See if you can take that a little bit closer, but be kind. And then what we're going to try and do is just move that leg side to side. So think about moving even your hips a little bit maybe, just to get that leg to move. So as your leg goes across your body, slightly move your hips. So you're lifting, that's the left side of the hip, and then push your hips into the floor and take your leg out wider. So when your leg goes wide, keep your hips on the floor. As you come across, allow your hip to lift if it wants to. So we're not forcing anything, just see where that goes. And making sure as you do this, you're taking nice, long, slow, easy breaths. So you can use the band to help hold your leg, but make sure your shoulders are relaxed, you're not all hunched up. And then we're going to start to make that bigger. So you could use your arm as a counterbalance if you want to. Don't go too far. So much like the hip rolls, as you come over, that rotation goes up your spine. You can put your elbow on the floor to help support your leg. As you go out, remember we're keeping the hips still now. So this is coming in to an inner thigh stretch. Listen to your body. Don't do big movements if that doesn't feel comfortable to you. And one more each side. And then change legs. So again, start with a gentle stretch. Relax your shoulders. Point and flex your foot. Lovely, and then just that little, as you released off back into stretch, just that little hip movement, keeping your shoulders heavy, breathe in. So just sort of mimicking a very much smaller version of what we're going to do. Just feeling, kind of warming up, getting used to that movement. Remember to keep your shoulder blades and your head heavy on the floor. And then making it bigger, so using the arm as a counterbalance, maybe putting your elbow down, keeping your shoulders relaxed, heavy on the floor. As you come across, maybe the hip moves, maybe the rotation gets to go up your spine. Take your time, listen to what your body is telling you. Some things may not always be suitable, so be aware of that. Maybe holding at the end of the movement. Just one more each side. And taking that leg down. Just shake the legs. So we're probably going to use our band again for the next one, but a slightly different movement. We're going back to the left leg. So drawing that leg in, trying to keep the other leg on the floor, pushing the heel away. So we've got a nice strong leg position. And then as we breathe out, we're going to just bring the head up. Try and keep your other leg on the floor. And relax down and take that leg out wide, pushing the other leg into the floor or extending the other arm. And then we're coming across, we're going to swap hands I'm going to take the left hand and place it in the hip. So this is kind of keeping your hip where it is, not allowing your hip to lift. Yeah, so that hip stays down. And then we're just going to turn the foot. So push the heel inward and draw the leg over slightly, keeping this hip on the floor. So you're going to get a big stretch down your leg, all into the hip. Hold and breathe. Keeping this hip down, don't allow it to roll over. And release off. Change legs. So we've got the leg on the floor, quite nice and strong, pushing your heel away. As you breathe out, curl up, bring your forehead towards your leg. As you come back down, take your leg out wide. Bring that leg back in, change hands. Bring your right hand down and into that hip to hold that hip down. Turn your foot in and take it across your body, keeping your hip down. So this really stretches into the outside of that hip. Breathe. Keep pushing your hip into the floor as you're drawing the leg across. And release off. Well done. So band to the side for now. Let's take the knees in so you can hold them or not hold them, it's up to you. We're just going to circle the hips around. So this massages your lower back. Think about making a really nice circular shape. And then go the other way around. And then again, just side to side. Take the arms wide and turn the palms down. Pull your shoulder blades together slightly, tuck them under the body. If you can, bring the legs over to the floor. Now you can put your feet down, and then when you get down, bring them up a bit if you don't like the drop, or you can come over to the floor. You want your upper back, your shoulder blades to stay on the floor. So it might mean that you can only get your feet down, not your knees. Just do whatever you can. Using maybe your feet to help you push off, or your abdominals, bring your legs across to the other side. So you can use arms and feet to help you. As you come over, try and get your knees together so you're not in a split leg position. And again, like I said, you can amend it slightly to suit you. Take a few breaths. So using your feet to push off, or your abdominals, Come back to the centre, we're going to go across to the other side again. When you come down this time, turn your head and look at the hand you've left behind. So try and tuck your chin in. Head to the centre, using abdominals or using your legs to help you. Come across to the other side. Think about, as I said, trying to keep your legs together, which can be difficult if your back is tight on one side. You might find one side easy. Lift your head and look at the other hand. Use your legs or your abdominals and come back to the centre and circle your legs around. And then the other direction. Lovely. Bring your arms in and just rock side to side. And then we're going to come over onto all fours. Drawing up through the back and relaxing down. So thinking about where you need to move. So if it feels nice and easy, find something that's a little bit harder to work with. Really taking your time to breathe. Good. From there, we're going to come into a little bit of a hip release. So we're going to don't need that. Take one leg in front. We're going to tuck the bottom under. So remember this, we're going to try and hold the stretch and you're going to try and lift the leg you are kneeling on. So you're trying to sort of pull that forwards, but your weight is in it. And we're just going to hold that. So we're going to hold the stretch. We're going to hold the contraction, we're going to breathe. Keep that contraction, keep that stretch. We're going to do both at the same time. And we're going to release off. And we're going to release the tuck and we're going to try and come forward and just move into that. Now when you do this, try not to lift your rib cage. Keep your rib cage down and see if you can drop into the hip rather than lifting your rib cage. Lovely. And then come back to upright. Keep your upper body still and just tuck your pelvis, tuck your tailbone under. So when you do this, if it's tight, you might find you go to the side. We do a little salsa. We're going to try and tuck. So you're just going straight, tilting and releasing. And then hold that tilt. And breathe. And release off. Lovely, let's change legs. So something under your knee if you want to. We've got the tuck under. So that tilt again. Tucking under, holding that, and then imagining you're trying to lift your leg at the same time. And try and hold both. Try and keep both about the same if you can. Keep that tension, keep that stretch. And then releasing off, keeping your body nice and straight, tipping forward, working into that hip, coming down if you want to. It's up to you, or staying upright if you prefer. And then coming back to the upright position, and we're back to those tucks, tucking your tailbone under. Good work. So let's change legs again, so we're giving that knee a rest. We're going to come forward and we're going to try and stretch that back leg out a bit. Lengthen through the body so we're not all rounded. And just roll slightly. So this is just rolling, dropping that hip. Using the arms to help you. Just trying to roll into the hip. So really trying to open through the front of the hip. And then staying there in any part of that feels comfortable if you want to stretch, or slightly uncomfortable, I should say. And then releasing and coming to the other side. So dropping forward, lengthening through the back of it. Just feeling that hip opening. Just rolling. Lovely. And then back into our little cat stretches. So we're focusing now on lifting up, perhaps through the lower back to complement what we've been doing. Really trying to get some lift to start with. changing it. So now we're going to draw the tailbone down towards the floor. So this is a bit more subtle. Draw that down and release. So just draw your tailbone down and release. So much more subtle. And then we're going to add to it. So we're going to draw the tailbone down. Then we're going to lift through the lower back. So you get much more of a precise stretch there and release off. So we draw your tailbone down, lift through the lower back. And release off. So if you want to feel a nice stretch there, tailbone down, lift through the lower back. And creep that lift all the way up through the spine. Let your head hang. Feel your head become heavy, tuck your chin in. And release off.